For over a year now, I have been working on this question. This question came from Yusef from the comment section. So a lot of times when you guys give me a question, I take the question, I put it into my my notes on my phone, and I sit and I beat around with it. I play around with it. I think about it. I muse about it. I send it to other people and see what they think about it. And I have been actually working on this one for probably about a year now, maybe even over a year. I don't remember when Yusef asked this question, but it was in the comment section. And it had me stumped. Very few questions have me stumped. I mean, I knew exactly what he was talking about, but the problem was I never really figured out, like, what's a good way to deal with this. So we're going to do the introduction, and then I'm going to read you the question and see if you have an answer. I'm going to give mine. I'm finally going to give mine and see if any of you out there experience this and have an answer for Yusef. Yusef is an Aquarius, so this is a very Aquarius question, and I mean very, extremely. So we're going to talk about it, and I think some of you guys might have some ideas, or you might be feeling like us, like, I don't know what to do with this. So let's do the introduction, and then we'll get into it. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to everybody you know, okay? Leave us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you want to get a reading, if you want to become a patron, if you want to send me a donation or a gift, if you would like to get some Ask an Aquarius merchandise, any of that kind of stuff, it's all underneath this video. So let's get started with this question. This question is a humdinger. I'm going to read it first, right? It says, just recently, I have been wondering why it feels like the more knowledge I acquire, the more isolated I become from the world. Sound familiar, Aquarius? Come to find out, when I did some digging, there's a saying even found in the Bible that an increase in knowledge is an increase in suffering. Then I started wondering how this affects Aquarius, who shut down when there's nobody to really share certain ideas with because it contradicts the worldview. Have you ever experienced something such as this, to where every day it feels like you're watching the entire world from a third person perspective because of the knowledge you have that others don't? So, wow. First of all, as an Aquarius, it is very common, extremely common, to acquire a great deal of knowledge. And for some of us, this is going to be problematic. Not because knowledge is a problem, but because we're going to be around people who don't have the same knowledge. So, for example, let's say you're born into a family and you're one of the smarter people. You're one of the Aquarius, for example. Now, there may be other family members who totally do not understand where you're coming from. And we're not just talking about regular old knowledge. I think we're really talking about, like, the truth about things, enlightenment, you know, things like that, you know. And I feel like for a lot of us, this will be the case. We'll be like the only one or one of the few in our family or in our neighborhood, you know, who has this knowledge. And, you know, in other cases, you grow up in families where, you know, there's more knowledge, but it still doesn't mean they have the same knowledge, you know. So I think that he's 100% correct about this, because it does seem like if the others around you don't have it or won't accept it, because I know a lot of us who try to tell people the knowledge. We try to explain, like, look, this is what it is. And people either don't believe us or give us a hard way to go, or they stubbornly hold on to their own worldview and their perspective. So as an Aquarius, it seems like it's like, well, what do you do in this situation? So I don't know what other people do, but I'm going to tell you what I do. First of all, I figured out a long time ago that everything is not for everybody. A lot of the things that I do and understand on a spiritual, magical level, or intellectual, education level, any of that kind of stuff, I'm not expecting the rest of the world to know. Let me tell you something. When I was in college, we had to read the work of W.E.B. Du Bois. I think it's Du Bois, but for some reason Americans say Du Bois. Anyway, we read this man's work, and he was brilliant. He was one of the most brilliant minds that ever thought. It's like brilliant. Constantly wrote things, has such a large body of work and knowledge that he's put out there. And one of the things that he said, and he ended up revising this, but he said that the majority of, he was talking about the African American community, and he said the majority of the African American community, and he attributed this to, what was it, the talented 10th. So he said 10 to 15%, because later on he, revised it and added a little bit more. So he said 10 to 15% of the community would be the ones who would gain the knowledge. And I see this with other communities too. He was talking about this community, so I stuck with ours. But I see this with other communities too. It's only a small percentage. 10 to 15 to me sounds kind of generous, quite frankly. And it's only a small percentage that gets the knowledge, gets the understanding, or even cares about it, quite frankly. So I knew since I was 20 that as I gained knowledge, other people were not going to choose to do the same thing. Other people might not even believe me, and I accepted it. And I guess maybe that's the difference, or maybe, Yusef, this is where you're at right now, is acceptance. Because I accepted that that is the way that it is. I accepted that that is life, and I didn't expect everyone to know what I did. I didn't expect them to accept it. I didn't expect them to even care. If somebody I meet does know these things or does care about these things, that's awesome. And then we vibe, and that's my tribe, that's my people, But the people who don't understand or who don't vibe, I just have basic surface conversations with. I talk to people all the time who don't understand. I don't isolate myself from the others. I talk to them all the time. I just meet them where they are, It's like there are conversations that we can have that are still, normal. Like, for example, we can talk about the holidays. We can talk about the weather. I talk to them about things that they would understand, that they care about, if they're into sports. I don't know a lot about sports, but if we're at a bar and we're watching a game, I'll talk about the sports that are on the TV, I just kind of don't expect it, and I just talk to people where they are. And I only do this with this one topic, because when it's energy, I don't lower my energy for another person, but I will, as far as like conversation is concerned, I will do it then. For example, I have taught high school, and I've taught, middle school and high school. And when you're teaching, you automatically know that the people that you're teaching don't know the information. They might know some of it, or like the building blocks to it, but for the most part, they probably don't know what you're talking about. So when I deal with people who don't know what I'm talking about, if they choose to learn, I teach. That's what Asking Aquarius is. I teach and learn here. So if I have something and they want to learn, I give it to them, And if they don't want to hear it, then they just don't want to hear it, and I move on. So I think that for you, and for anybody else that has this issue going on, I think that what you have to do is you have to accept that everybody is not going to be on that level, and you have to just deal with people who you find who are on your level, and it's going to be few and far between. It might be one or two here and there, and you're going to have to deal with those people on that level. And when you have to deal with people who don't understand, who just don't get it, I personally just stay away from topics that are going to get us in trouble because they don't get it. I stay away from stuff like that, and I just talk about things that are pretty mundane that we both can enjoy. We both can enjoy a conversation about, some celebrity gossip, for example. We both can enjoy something like that. Or if you're not into that, I'm sure there's something that you are into that people are into. Like, for instance, music. You could sit around and talk to your relatives about it. A lot of people talk to me about this topic, especially with their family members, and it happens a lot during this time of year. Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays. People go around their family and they feel like they're not accepted or understood. And some of these people are enlightened people. So they come around their family with all this new knowledge, and their family is still not interested. You know. And for some of us, like myself, when I was young, I would try to impose my knowledge on other people. Now I've learned to just leave it be. You know, if they don't want it, then hey, just leave it be. And I also don't spend a lot of time around those people. I avoid those people, because it's like, if I have to be around, like Christmas, holidays, yeah, I'm there. But I don't make it a point of hanging out knowing that we don't have anything in common, you know? And so in those situations, that is one thing that you can possibly do. I think most Aquarius just avoid it. I really do. I'm gonna look in the comment section to see what you guys say, but I think from knowing Aquarius, most of us just avoid those situations and try to be around like-minded people. And I think this is true for anybody. I don't care what you're into, if it's enlightenment, if it's sewing, if it's knitting. You want to be around people who love what you love, who do what you do, and understand what you understand. So my thing, Yusef, is find your people and hang with your people, and let the other people do them. That's what I do. So are there any Aquarius out there that have any other options? Maybe we can give them some more things for some food for thought. Robin Israel is our first positive comment. Robin said, "We are so strong until it hurts, but I detach myself. I think that hurts me more." Yeah, I like being detached. I like being detached, but staying detached. Getting attached and then detaching is so painful. I agree with you on that one. It's like ripping a band-aid off of a sore, you know? Like, I agree with you 100%. Felicia Johns. Yeah, hey Felicia. Felicia said, "Me in a nutshell. If people only knew the war within. We're so misunderstood. It's a shame. I need to try to be more vulnerable, but it terrifies me because I've been burned so much in the past. For what? Caring." I would say don't be more vulnerable. Not at all. I think you should stay exactly how you are. I think you should. I think you should work through the pain and, you know, what has happened in the past. I think you should stay not vulnerable. And then when you finish working through the pain, I think that you have to carefully manifest people who are safe to be vulnerable with. And I say this because you can't be vulnerable with everybody. Some people, like emotional abusers, narcissists, you know, people like that will take your vulnerability and twist it around and use it against you. So don't get vulnerable until you're at a space where you've healed from everything in the past, you're nice and strong, and you've manifested some people who deserve your vulnerability and can match you there. Okay? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. You come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.